What's up everybody, Starwreck here, and today we're going to be going over rounds 4 through 7 of the ICSTC Championship. First, let's take a look at the team standings after round 3 going into round 4. As you can see, Firestone GP, my team, is 9 points behind LLL going into round 4. Now let's take a look at the individual standings. The past 3 races I have won, and I'm now, what is that? 15 points ahead of Gramative and Silva, both from LLL. Hopefully I can win again and keep my streak going here. Alright, let's get into round 4. This is the Magdalena GP with the touring car. As you can see, that FST here, Stark, me, and Ironis got a 1-2 qualifying, which is really nice. Going into this, after that happened, I was like, oh, this is great, because I know that if anything, Ironis may get second, or he may, hold up Gramative, who right now is my championship rival. And that's exactly what happened. Going off here, Ironis holds Gramative off for giving me about a 1-second lead, which only increases just a smidge and all the way through the race. That was kind of the main feature of this race, was it was just kind of yo-yoing between me and Gramative. He was just right on the edge of my my slipstream, so it was like just going back and forth. Sometimes he might get in it just a little bit, and then he'd make a mistake, go back, or I'd make a mistake, let him get in. As you see, the first pit stop, he's actually pretty close to me, basically in my slipstream, but maybe not too much in my slipstream to allow him to catch up. But later on, I extend my lead just a bit more here on lap 14, and yeah, that's basically kind of what happened this whole rest of the race. I'll just let these last few clips go, and we'll get on to round 5. Okay, on to round 5. This was, I believe, Copperwood GP with the GTs. Pretty good combo. Copperwood is always, interesting when it comes to the curbs, so I definitely had to watch out for that during this race. A fairly similar race to the last one, except now we've got Dax Werner and Philbot who are challenging me for the win. Yeah, Philbot definitely gave me a good run for my money on this race. As you'll see, he kind of did I believe I was on the 2-stopper, and he tried the 3-stopper, which was fairly similar in pace, and at the end, he finished within, I think, 3 seconds of me, and I could tell that during that last stint, I was like, oh man, last couple laps, he's catching up to me for sure. But luckily, I held out at the end here. See, he dives in at lap 8, looking for, I believe, that was that 888, the 3-stopper, whereas I believe I was doing a 10-11-11. So here's after the first stop. You can see Philbot just went through there along with Gramative. I believe he was also on the 3-stop. Yeah, so we'll just go through all these highlights here of kind of the full race. This is obviously after my first pit stop. I believe now this is coming out of my second pit stop. There you see Philbot is in the pits right there when I come around to go onto lap 24. And I've got about a full straight on him, and as you can see, I did hold off, and he only had about a half of a straight on me at the end, or I had a half straight on him at the end, which equated to about 3 seconds or so here in the final. Unfortunately, Ironis, who was filling in for Stoney again this round, he did a wrong pit stop, and he went at 10-10-12 and ran out of fuel, which put him in 10th for this round, unfortunately. But luckily, since I got first, we still scored some points. So here are the results. Okay, on to round 6. This was a really fun one. This is Rally, or the Vost on Buffalo Hill Rallycross, the full course. What's very interesting about this race is that Itikin is taking the place of Silva, which, as a lot of people know, Itikin is a very fast driver. Probably, I think he's top 5 for sure. Even faster than me, in my opinion. Although I can hang with him. And that's what makes this race really good. Oh, looks, Ironis also qualified 3rd here. So we did a 2-3 for FST. LLL went a 1-5, it looks like. So starting off the race here, yeah, I was already backing off of him. A little tap there, try to make sure I didn't go fully into him and take the position. But yeah, at the start here, I could definitely tell that Itikin had some connection issues. And Ironis, hey, look there, he's staying with us the first couple laps here. But yeah, yeah, I could definitely tell he was wiggling all over the place. You can kind of see that. He's wiggling all over the place. You can tell he is just lagging. And to be honest, during the race, I was like, oh, hell yeah. This is great because, you know, I want to win and make points. But it is unfortunate that, unfortunately, we can't really have cross-region play very easily, especially for Itikin. I believe I don't know where he's from again, but he has a pretty bad connection to the US compared to even other EU drivers. And so here he's wiggling, and I was able to get a good exit on the last turn and be on the inside of him to take the position. And, you know, he gives me a couple of good tries here, going into a couple of these corners, but eventually I do pull away from him. I think it's purely due to his lag because he was competing. I think he competed in the European Regional with Minardi and kept up with them, so I think it was definitely all connection. Definitely unfortunate overall because I would have liked to go toe-to-toe with him for sure. But unfortunately the cards were not at my table, or cards were not in his table. So moving on to round 7. So unfortunately I do not have gameplay from this as I did it, yeah, longer story. But this is definitely a more interesting race where the tire wear is 500%. So as you can see, we're already sliding all over the place like 5 turns in. Okay, going back to the race, of course, it was an absolutely horrible weekend. You know, I was in a different location, luckily with my PC stuff and everything, but still, it just was such an off weekend. No connection issue, luckily, but I did qualify 4th after doing so much practice for this race, and it just didn't turn out very well in qualifying. I did like, you know, 3 or 4 tenths worse than what I can do regularly. But starting off here, I do get the 3rd place pretty quickly here within a lap and a quarter. I had a Philbot, and now I've got Gramative and Itikin in front of me. I am able to get past Gramative here pretty shortly, and I set my sights on Itikin. Yeah, Gramative make a mistake there going out of the first turn, and now I'm just head on. Like, I was fairly confident that my pace was good this weekend, 100%. My pace was really good, and there was a couple of times that I got close to Itikin. Like, you know, you could see him right there. Like, he's just 2-3 seconds up the road, yeah, I just couldn't reach him the whole race. It was a pretty lonely race, but it was a really stressful, and it was a good race. Like, luckily, I think, you know, Itikin didn't have anybody around him after the first couple turns, so I think his connection was a lot better to the US server, which was good for him. And as you can see, I'm lapping Stoney there. I don't know what lap it's on because, again, I wasn't able to record, and I was catching Itikin until that CCD, which was really unfortunate. But yeah, it looks like, man, I was just so close to catching him at the end there, as you can see. Okay, so let's do a real quick recap. After 7 rounds, the team standings are super close. After round 6, I was able to clinch the individual championship, but that's no consequence in this series because all that matters is the team championship, so we can get promoted. So after 7 rounds, we are 9 points ahead of LLL. Going into round 7, we were, I think, 19 points ahead of LLL. So during that last round, they caught up to us like, yeah, like, what was that, 10 points? Yeah, 35 to 25. It's just crazy. It basically all comes down to this last race, and that'll be another video for you guys. But if we take a look, let's move on to the individual standings. As you can see, I pretty clinched it pretty easily with only, so far, only 1 second place finish. in this last round here, with Itikin taking the win there. Gramative in second. He's been very consistent, getting 2 threes this whole time. Probably a really consistent driver. Philbot, who came in for who is that? Tim Sander halfway through after round 3, has been doing really good. He's actually my teammate for this next season, so that's great. He finished third by only doing he hasn't finished third yet, but he's basically going to be finishing third only after 5 and 8 rounds, so congrats to him. Okay, that's all I have today. Really appreciate all of you sticking around till the end here, and hope you like my recap. Yeah.